Welcome to Watchfire Hobbies. Today, we're creating this quick desert sandy base. Let's get started. For the Tombkins army, I wanted to create a base that was more sandy texture, not dry. Kind of think of, the dunes, them coming over it, not just, the cracked earth. So I went with this very quick sandy texture. It is 3 steps. And I am still looking, I'm going to eventually get little tufts or something else to just create that third level. But it all starts off with our black base. Now, if you've assembled Tombkins, you get a couple skeleton heads. More than a couple. These were all just painted quickly with skeleton horde over white. And I'm just going to grab one out of my nice little container here. Just going to use some hot glue to glue it to the base. Now, the reason I'm using hot glue will become apparent in a second, but this process was originally designed to be very quick and efficient because we designed this when we did our 87 skeletons. So just gluing him to the base and really kind of sticking him in there. Now, I don't use hot glue a ton for modeling projects. I use it more, for when I do foam and stuff. But this hot glue will be a couple purposes. I don't want this skeleton just, his head sticking out of the ground. I want him kind of buried in the sand. So next thing we're going to do is we're actually going to bury him with the hot glue. So first things first, we're going to come over here and just create a little line, just trying to create some depth. And secondary line. As you see, we are varying the height, and I'm actually covering some of the skeleton's head with this. Kind of making our mound. So if you see it in the cross section, he's a little more buried than he's, just the random skull stuck on there. So we're going to do it in the front. Just to really get that little height variation here. There you go. We'll give it about 5 minutes to dry because it is hot glue. And then we're just going to come in with our paste. While we're waiting for that to dry, I do want to talk about the actual plan of this is for the desert sand to come out here and kind of rise up and kind of form a little peak here, really kind of trying to bury the items in. This one's one of the ones, of course, that's stuck out, but I really want to try to bury it so it looks like these, pieces are embedded in the desert, that the desert is actually coming over and claiming them. That being said, on larger models, I kind of come back in once this is dry and do another layer, especially for the planned Necker Sphinx that's coming up. It's going to be multiple layers of this. I'm also going to use some other materials, cork and stone, to really build up those height variations of the sand. But it's almost dry, so we can almost get to our paste there. Now that is dry, we're going to come in with the Vallejo Desert Sand Earth textures. I was deciding between this and the AK Interactive Desert Sand, but I could get this, and for some reason I could not get AK Interactive Sand sent to me anytime soon, so we're just going to come in. Now we're going to, just put this on the base. We usually, we come in and we do our little stabs up. We're going to try to avoid that this time. And because we really want that smooth kind of blown in sand texture. Now even as you see, it's coming in, it's already created that height difference that we were looking for. So I'm just trying to smooth it out, really build up the height difference there. And so now we're going to come in, we're going to bury our little skeleton friend here, probably some invader who, shouldn't have been taking something that he shouldn't have from our Tombkins. See? You shouldn't be taking stuff that's not yours, dude. I mean, also, those extra skulls do give you the, I think it's supposed to be a cow skull, with the horn, but you never see the rest of the cow body. I think Family Guy made that joke one time. So there you go, and now smooth it out. we're looking just to create one or two little peaks, kind of bending peaks. But that creates our nice height. So once this dries, we'll just hit our side of our base with a nice light tan. I mean, you can do whatever color you want. You can even do black. Then glue a new model to it, and this base is done. So that is all dried. As you see, we have a flat space here to put our model. Still that, and then our front here is buried underneath. The variation here with these models having some up out of the sand, some mostly covered in something like this where it's 99% covered, I think is replacing the variation you usually see with different size tufts, etc. So right now I'm just going to do the edges with Steel Legion Drab, and then this model, or this base, is done. Now you can use any kind of brown sandy texture here, sandy color, not texture. You can use any brown or sandy texture here. I tested Steel Legion Drab, that's the color I ended up going with. Carrick Stone looked pretty good, but I am using that for the wood. And I did try Udashtabi Bone. I think it blended too much. So like I said, this, or, I mean, you can always just stick with black. And there you go. So, like I said, this scheme was developed to be very quick. Developed it when I did my 87 skeletons. There will be a couple more variations, as you see, with the rest of the models that I'm doing. The Necrosphinx, the Necro Dragon are the two big ones because those bases are just huge. But thank you for spending some of your hobby time with me today. And remember, enjoy your hobby.